So I'm Joe Sepulveda. I'm an assistant medical director at Family Health Centers of San Diego, and also the medical director overseeing SUD services for the organization. FHCSD is the largest federally qualified health center in San Diego. We have roughly about 24 primary care clinics, 7 standalone behavioral clinics, mobile clinics. We have an outpatient intensive SUD program, a MAT program. So we're a very large entity here. Again, no different than addiction. There's an organ that's affected. And we know the circuitry of how this works as well. So if you look at the slide on the right-hand side, that purple area there is called your limbic system. We call it the reptilian brain. Why do we call it that? Because that is what drives survival. Okay, that is what tells you what's good for you in order to survive. High caloric diet, shelter, procreation in order for your genetic progeny to keep going well before you're gone. That is what drives behavior as well. So let me give you another example. Think of yourself of being in the Saharan desert for several days without water. All of a sudden I appear with some water in front of you and you're close to death. And I tell you, you can't have this. You think that's going to go well for me? No, it's not. You will kill and maim me to get that water. Why? Because you know you are at the point of death. Okay? That part of your brain is telling me I need to survive. That is the part of the brain that is driving addiction. Okay? The red portion there is what's called your amygdala. That's your memory centers. If you have a pleasant experience, that amygdala reminds that part of your brain that you should do it over and over and over and over again. Why? Because it was a good thing. If I had a high caloric diet, that's a good thing because it gives me more energy, right? We all can relate to this, right? The green part of the brain is what's called your executive functioning centers. Okay, those are your reasoning centers. That part of the brain tells you to wait, hold on a minute, we got to think about things because there may be consequences, therefore I'm not going to do it. That's your reasoning. That part of your brain, and we've seen it over and over again on studies, is shut down on a person that suffers from addiction when they are given cues of addiction. Because the red area and the purple area will override the green. Therefore, they have no control over their compulsion. Okay? And this just drives in the point, because a lot of people say, well, wait a minute, addiction was a choice. They chose to try it for the first time, it's their fault. That is false. That is not true. And this does voluntary misuse at a party, for example, does not make this any less of a disease. It is the same change. Whether I prescribed you an opioid in good faith because you broke a leg and I gave it to you for too long and you developed addiction, or you made a poor choice at a party. It's the same process that takes place. No one would ever say to a type 1 diabetic, meaning that they were born with diabetes, you don't have a disease. Same goes with type 2. No one would say, oh, you didn't exercise enough, you didn't have the right diet, therefore, you know what? You don't have a disease. No, that's not true. We know that's not true. It's the same for addiction. And remember that area of the amygdala that I told you that lights up and drives that center of the brain that leads to compulsive use. This is a study that shows if you take a person with addiction and you show them a nature video, that area of the brain does not light up. But if you give them a video of pictures of cocaine, of someone using cocaine, that area will light up and it will drive those areas of the brain. Again, you don't have control over this. Well, what about people that relapse? You relapse, that means you're not serious or you're not committed to your recovery. That is patently false. If you compare that to any other chronic condition that we treat in medicine, and I mean in medicine in general, any chronic condition, you will see that addiction is no different. So for example, if you look at type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and asthma, you will see relapse rates that rival addiction. Okay, meaning exacerbations, we need medication changes, we need to follow you up more closely. You didn't take your medication, you didn't adhere to the diet that we told you to. It's no different than addiction. Yet if we treat it like a chronic condition like we do any of these other diseases, you will have similar outcomes. Okay? And it takes time to recover from addiction, just like any other medical disease. Okay? This is a depiction of that. So this is a healthy control. You can see the red areas, that's your dopamine receptors in your brain. Someone that uses methamphetamines will have those dopamine receptors wiped off. And you can see this on the second image there. It takes 14 months just to start getting some of those dopamine receptors back. And even though you get those dopamine receptors back, they're not back to where they were before. So it takes a very, very long time to recover from a condition. Why do I put this slide up there? Well, because there's a lot of people out there that say, look, I started you on this medication, Suboxone, and I want you off of it in a week, or in a month, or in 6 months. An arbitrary number saying that you should not be on this for a long period of time. Would we say that for any other chronic condition? Well, no, absolutely not, right? Why? Because it doesn't make any sense.